Hi there guys, and welcome once again to Jonesy's vlog. Just a quick reaction and look at last night's 2-1 victory for Leeds United in the Capital One Cup at home to Accrington Stanley. First of all, I thought it was a fantastic crowd. I was honestly expecting, especially after sort of Saturday's performance and how pre-season had gone and everything, I wasn't expecting much interest in it. I was saying maybe around 7,000 maybe there. So to get over 13,000, you know, for a Tuesday night game in the Capital One Cup against the League Two side, I think that's pretty impressive. You know, I didn't look at sort of comparative attendances around the first round last night, but I'm sure it was probably one of the highest. So you know, well done to all the fans that came out, and fair play to the Accrington fans as well. I think there were just under 300 of them, but they made a cracking atmosphere, especially through the first half. Certainly making a lot more noise than our lot were for a lot of the time. So you know, fair play to them. So the match itself, obviously, when you go into these matches, it's games that we should be winning, and you know, that's no disrespect to Accrington Stanley. I mean, I'll get onto them in a minute and how impressed I was with them, but you know, a Championship side should be beating a League Two side fairly comfortably. But obviously the whole point of the Cup is that, you know, it does create upsets, and there were so many of them last night. At the end of the day, you know, I think we need to look at it and just be glad that we got through. So yeah, first half I was pretty impressed with us. You know, I said on Saturday, well, it was on Sunday, after the Millwall game, that the match last night was a massive game, and could be not so much a turning point, but just really affect how the next few games go in the league at least. You know, if we'd have gone out last night and started off really poorly and frozen again, then it really could have got the players down, and it could have been an upset. It could quite easily have been an upset. But we started off quite brightly and got into the match quite quickly. Started doing a lot of you know, good passing movement. Was struggling a little bit with creativity up front. I personally was struggling to see how the formation was working. You know, the players up front and in midfield seemed to be all over the place. You know, I wasn't 100% sure where Jonesy was meant to be playing, and Smith and Decara. So it was a little bit messy up front, and like I say, not much creativity, but we were passing the ball around well. I thought Bianchi, you know, it was good to see him at Ellen Road. Well, I did see him in the Dundee match, but you know, to see him in a competitive game, it was good to see him. You know, again, some nice sort of passing that he was doing, and just a very sort of calm, relaxed game that he plays. You know, there's nothing rushed about what he does. So that was good to see. Good to see Charlie Taylor at left back. You know, he seems to be a very attacking fullback, which is good to see. I was a bit worried at some points with his defending and sort of getting back from those attacking positions. But overall, yeah, like I say, that first half we seemed to be in control of the game. We were dominating the match. We had two great goals from Suleiman Decara. At the first one, a good little ball in from Berardi to him. Fantastic first touch out with his feet, and just a spin, and first time shot into the bottom right hand corner. Great finish, and I'm sure it'll do his confidence the world of good, because he didn't get off to the greatest start. A few of his touches were going awry. He did one of the greatest dives I think I've ever seen. We were all laughing quite a lot. I mean, you could literally hear everyone laughing. Even from the Kop, that it was quite a magnificent dive from him. So it was good for him, you know, fairly early on to get that goal. And for his second goal, I can't remember who passed it through, but it was a decent through ball, and again, a very calm, composed finish. You know, a nice little skill in the build-up, and great finish. You know, past the keeper one-on-one. So after his poor showing on Saturday, I mean, Hockaday admitted afterwards that he froze in that match, was a little bit worrying. I mean, if he froze under those conditions, like Eddie Gray said last night, you know, it's going to be a bigger crowd on Saturday, and it's going to be, you know, a bigger match. So hopefully it doesn't freeze again, but hopefully those two goals last night did enough to get his confidence up and make sure that doesn't happen again. So yeah, first half all was going well. There were a few lapses in defence, and Accrington showed you know, that they were completely out of it. They definitely put us under quite a bit of pressure, and they had their own chances. And like I say, we were still looking a little bit dodgy in defence, and that was clear to see. So I was hoping going into the second half that we wouldn't kind of stand off them, and that we would keep on sort of pushing on. But unfortunately that didn't happen. We seemed to relax a little bit too much in that second half, and we weren't seeing the sort of crisp passing and the movement that we were seeing in the first. Again, lacking in creativity going forward, and defensively we looked, you know, quite poor. You know, Accrington Stanley got back into it in the last 10 minutes. A very, very poor goal to give away. You know, there were many times they were putting balls into the box, and a lot of their players were just free and open in that penalty area. I mean, we saw it against Millwall, and it was happening again. So that was really disappointing to see. Some players kind of faded away a little bit. And yeah, I mean, it could quite easily, you know, they could have got an equaliser. Accrington, it wouldn't have surprised me at all. I mean, what Berardi was doing for his sending off, I have no idea. Again, it was just one of those laughable moments of what the hell was he doing and what was he expecting. So, you know, no complaints about the red card there at all. I'm sure everyone's seen the video of it by now. And, you know, it was a stupid thing to do at that time in the game. It left us wide open to you know, concede another goal. We very nearly did. But we just managed to scrape by and scrape through, which, like I say, you wish it wouldn't be like that, and that wouldn't be the case against a League Two side. But like I say, all credit to Accrington Stanley. They played really well. You know, they never stopped, they never gave up. They kept on attacking and they kept believing. And you know, I wouldn't have said that they wouldn't have deserved an equaliser at the end. You know, I think they were deserved of it. But you know, on the night we just managed to hang out, and that, you know, that first half kind of got us through, really. So looking at individual performances, I'm still quite impressed with Jonesy. I thought he looked quite good, getting in good positions, getting a few good balls in. I thought Lewis Cook was looking good again. I think he really needs to sort of improve on his strength a little bit. You know, I know he's still only young and he's only a small guy, but he does get brushed off the ball quite easily, and that was happening quite a bit last night. But overall, again, you know, very impressed with him. I thought Berardi, for his first you know, competitive game for us, looked fairly solid at left back. At right back. Did get beaten one or two times, but you know, nothing major, nothing that you don't see usually anyway. I thought Berardi had a fairly solid game up until his, you know, stupid sending off. You know, again, quite an attacking fullback, which is good to see, and seems fairly solid in defence. Again, you know, like I said, Dakara obviously got his 2 goals, and once he got that, he got a bit more confidence and looked pretty decent. Matt Smith was pretty non-existent in the game. He didn't get too involved, really. Like I said, Bianchi, a very solid performance in midfield. Good to see Benedicic, I don't even know if I'm pronouncing that right, but good to see him get on the pitch. You know, didn't really have much time to show anything, but for an 18-year-old, you know, he seems quite composed, really. He's a lot taller than I thought he was going to be as well, so that's good to have another option for centre mid. So yeah, I think last night, obviously with cup competitions, the important thing is just to get through. So obviously, you know, I'm very, very happy about that, and glad to get in the draw tonight. The performance, you know, I haven't seen anything to particularly change my mind from Saturday. You know, if we were to play like we did last night on Saturday against Middlesbrough, I can't see us getting a win. You know, you hope it will improve a little bit. You know, if we play more like we did and more consistently as we did in the first half, then that will be better, obviously. but you know, defensively it needs to get a lot better. Creativity wise, we need to look a lot smarter going forward, and not so much, you know, obvious passes and just relying on crosses and long balls. But obviously we've got quite a few new recruits coming in. All of them seem to happen yesterday, starting with Belushi, who's coming in from Catania, I believe. I think that's on an initial season-long loan. You know, he's a central defender, which is what we need. Back in for Liam Cooper. All we had to do was up the bid to 600,000. So why we couldn't have done that in the first place, I have no idea. But at least that looks like, you know, that's going to be going through as well. I think he's having his medical today. And also Billy Sharp, which came out of nowhere for me at least, because I'd got it, well, into my head that he'd never want to play for Leeds, because I'm pretty sure somewhere at some point down the years, with his sort of Doncaster and Sheffield United history, he said he didn't like Leeds, or he wouldn't want to play for them, for us, sorry. So yeah, we're pretty surprised to see that, but he's a player I've always admired, and he's definitely a striker that we need, really. How it's going to fit into the sort of setup that we've got, I'm not too sure. What that'll mean for Matt Smith, again, I'm not too sure. Will that mean he's going to be going? I really hope not. I prefer just to, you know, keep everyone that we've got there. Maybe not Hunt. Again, showing his class last night. But yeah, you know, it'll be good to get those three in. Hopefully they should all be... well, I think the Belushi deal is definitely all done and signed. It's just Cooper and Sharp which needs to be done hopefully today. So I'm sure they'll probably, or they should be in contention for at least the squad against Middlesbrough on Saturday. But apparently Hockaday mentioned 3 other signings as well as the 3 that we know about. So you know, your guess is as good as mine about those ones. We'll have to see about that. So you know, that's a good thing. That's quite positive. You know, it seems like we're finally sort of getting somewhere with transfers, and you know, really giving a good update to the squad, which was needed. As I said in the previous vlog, you know, I said that 1 or 2 signings I didn't feel were going to make a difference, but you know, 2 centre backs and a decent striker, and hopefully some more, should be enough to hopefully improve the squad and actually see us compete, you know, this season instead of looking downwards all the time. You know, I think there's still a long way to go. I mean, Hockaday did say that last night. He says, you know, we're a team in transition, where a lot of work needs to be done. And you know, at least he is saying that and admitting that. Looking forward, looking ahead to Saturday's game against Middlesbrough. Gutted that I'm not going to be there because I have to work, but hopefully I will manage to sneak a peek at it on Sky Go whilst I'm at work. So hopefully it's a fairly quiet day from that point of view. But yeah, I really don't know what to expect, because we don't know if any of these new signings are going to be involved or not. I imagine if they're not going to be involved, then it will probably be a similar team to last night, but probably just with Silvestri back in goal, possibly Murphy and Austin back in, and maybe Byram. So looking again to a similar team that was playing on Saturday, but hopefully just with Smith starting instead of Hunt. Or if, you know, I would like to see the new ones sort of brought straight in. Of course, it depends how much training they can get in. Obviously, I don't know how much they've been involved in pre-season training over the summer. Obviously, Cooper's been involved in Chesterfield, so he should be up to fitness. I don't know what Billy Sharp's been doing at Southampton, if he's been involved or not at all. So, you know, it does depend on that. I'd rather have, you know, have a fully fit, you know, trio of players starting. You know, there's no point just throwing them in for the sake of it. So yeah, we'll have to see about that. So yeah, if any of you guys were at the game last night, give me your little review on the game. Any Accrington Stanley fans out there, I'm sure you'll have been proud of your team, and damn right too. They gave it their all, and yourselves as well. You know, you did your team proud last night, singing loud and proud for the majority of the game. So yeah, all of you, leave me your thoughts in the comments below, or at my Twitter at Chris Jones LUFC. And as always, guys, thank you for watching, and I'll see you all very soon.